What is up, RotoGrinders? Dean here. Dean 7904. Want to get all technical? This is 2 hours of nonstop. No, it's not 2 hours. It's a baby slate. It's a 5-gamer. Jeez, you know what? We goofed right up the gate. It's an hour and 35 minutes of nonstop MLB DFS conversation, taking you straight up the lock. Crunch time coming in about an hour or so. You got Derek Carty, CEO of the Bats and the Blitz, TastefulTides Tim, Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth. They're all jumping in for crunch time in about an hour or so. They're going to take you guys all up to lock. We'll hand it off myself and Stevie. Stevie, happy Thursday. Big content day for me, man. If I mess something up and start talking about players on the night slate, my apology. My brain's going back and forth as far as doing content for both slates. Will be on later as well, of course, but I'll apologize in advance on that. How are things? Happy Fleet Thursday as well. I don't know if you know that, Stevie. Get excited. That's why you're super pumped pre-show, because today is Fleet Thursday. Have you ever participated in a Fleet Thursday?
I have.
Okay.
No, I have. No, I mean, things are good. Just, I mean, I don't really do a ton of content on Thursday, so not to burst your bubble. Thursday's my off day usually, but when we have these early slates, I'll jump on and do GrindersLive or Crunch Time on Thursdays. But yeah, I mean, got a lot of stuff done this morning and had a pitching lesson this morning. So got back from that, cooled down, ate some Chipotle, and ready to talk some baseball.
You give lessons? You're not pitching anymore for yourself, right? You give lessons now? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been doing private pitching lessons for 10 plus years. So and I don't do them very often, maybe 5 or 6 a month. But yeah, I mean, keeps me around the game. I enjoy it.
Who's anybody a part of your pitching tree that we can speak of? That's maybe in the minors on their way up. So maybe
no.
I know DeGrom is not from obviously DeGrom is not somebody from your tree. That wouldn't make sense. It doesn't check out as far as the timeline, but I know he was from your area. Oh, Paul Skeens, according to the chat. Did you?
No.
No. Do you want to take credit for that?
No.
That's not
Luke
you.
Luke Weaver is around from around here, but I never worked with him, and I played with DeGrom. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, I know. He's I think he grew up in your hometown or close to. You guys went to the same high school or something like that. All right. Yeah. You did our tiers. We'll talk about our tiers later on in the show. Let's right out the gate. Let's hit the like button, of course. Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. Say hello to chat. What's up, chat? Kindly hit that like button. We don't want to beg or grovel. I think we might get Spidey bums. I don't want to be presumptuous, but I think we might get Spidey bums if we hit a certain threshold of likes. Maybe Spidey. It's kind of early for Spidey, so maybe not. We'll see. Maybe Spidey will let us know in the chat or on the screen. But let's go ahead and drop the first clue for today's Fleet Thursday. Fleet Thursday, of course, in the Discord channel. You guys know how this works. RotoGrinders.com/Discord, live stream chat channel. One guess per clue drop. Tell me what athlete I'm talking about. Be the first person to tell me. You get yourself a week free of RG Premium. The first clue is temper. Temper is the first clue. And again, let me know what athlete I am talking about. Stevie, if you want to put in the private chat, by all means. But we can't have you guessing it on air because then it ruins the integrity of the game. It's a whole thing. We got to take it up at the board. But feel free to play along in our private chat if you want to play. All right. 5-gamer. Some pretty good pitchers.
Tennis player? That's my only question.
It might be. It could be. Tennis players are athletes. Are you watching the French Open? Is this something you're into?
No, when I think I'll let you do your thing, but when I think of temper, I just think of one
McEnroe.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I won't say if it's a tennis player. It's not John McEnroe. And I also say this. I'm going to guess somebody probably guessed John McEnroe, but it's not McEnroe.
That would have been a good one though. If you think temper, John McEnroe.
So. The other two guesses so far: Billy Martin, the famous the umpire for the Yankees, who had some famous arguments. Not just
There's
with
a connection between John McEnroe and the answer.
Oh, look at TJ with the assist. Steve Nash coming in here. He just wants to give it away. Just hand it off to the people. Bobby Knight also guessed, which is a good guess as well. It's not Bobby Knight.
Do you know, not to give away our list, but John McEnroe is in an Adam Sandler movie?
Is he?
Yeah, Mr. Deeds.
Okay, yeah. He tends to put celebrities in there sometimes. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen Mr. Deeds, but that is not surprising. We've seen McEnroe actually on the sidelines in New York, right? Wasn't he in the Garden? I think he was on that celebrity row. I feel like he was popping up there. So I don't think he's still doing tennis coverage. I'm fairly certain. I don't watch a lot of tennis these days.
He's in a Netflix show.
John McEnroe?
He narrates a Netflix show called, I believe it's called Never Have I Ever.
Okay. Wasn't aware.
Yeah.
I did not know. All right. So screenshot. Well, we have Minnesota. Minnesota is the biggest total on the board, almost 6. Locked in for 9 innings once again against Mitch Spence and whatever nonsense comes rolling out of that Athletics bullpen. Maybe we get some Sean Newcomb. I don't know. They have the worst bullpen in baseball as far as ERA, if that's your metric. You can argue bottom 5. They're on the Family Feud board if you're not saying they're the worst. It's not been good for the Athletics as far as their bullpen. You got Buxton leading off and then a bunch of cheap dudes. No Lindor, no Mr. Smile. He is off today for the Mets. He did not crack that lineup. Nemo, he found himself in the 1 hole today against Landon Knack. One of the bigger totals on the board as far as the combination of the Mets, the Dodgers, 2 premier teams, 2 good offenses. Other side of that game, no Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman resting the day game, facing the lefty there and David Peterson. Every lineup is out, with the exception of Baltimore, unless that just dropped on us. But every lineup is out. Give me the screenshot. Give me the screenshot that you're seeing. Good pitching, and I guess Minnesota's a big decision point as far as the slate. What you're going to do with the Twins? How are you seeing it?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Twins a lot. You mentioned it, like beginning of the season, it was looking like the Athletics bullpen was going to be okay this year. I mean, historically bad the last couple seasons was the Athletics bullpen, and like they still have one of the best like closers in baseball, but like the rest of the bullpen is just trash. So not only are you getting like Spence, you're getting a really bad bullpen, kind of what you were just talking about. So I think look to be different other places today. I like the game in LA. I like both sides of that game. Peterson's not typically a guy I like to pick on, but I mean, the Dodgers are just so good. The Mets have a great matchup here against Knack, who gives up a ton of hard contact. Outside of that, though, I mean, it gets really interesting. I don't think there's really another like awesome spot on this slate for hitting. I mean, you could definitely put the Athletics potentially in that next like tier. Festa, he is usually really solid, but when you're looking at the ballpark, you're looking at the hitting conditions. I think that they're in that next kind of like tier. So I think it's an interesting slate for hitting. Pitching is interesting because we do have some good arms. So for a 5-game slate, I think that there's some decision making, but I think the Twins are kind of where I'm going to start my slate.
Yeah, I'm going to at least have some Minnesota. I'm not sure exactly what my main lineup's going to be as far as Twins, but I mean, like, I guess a lot of people are going to roll out 5 Minnesota players, and I don't know if I want to do that exactly, especially in my single entry stuff where, the good stuff, the best stuff, the things that project most positive tend to get a bump as far as ownership. People lean in, they play their cash games in there sometimes as well. Their cash game lineup, that is. Dylan Cease getting 52% ownership currently on DK. Wu getting 42%. I should have mentioned, by the way, I'm saying DK. FanDuel has a 7-game slate. The prize pool is not great. It's starting in like 5 or 10 minutes. If you have any FanDuel specific questions, by all means, but we're going to focus on the 5-game DK slate. That's just the way it goes. FanDuel insisted on including the 2 games that are starting pretty soon. That would be the first half of the Kansas City-St. Louis doubleheader, Michaelis versus Cameron, and then Detroit versus the White Sox. But we're starting at Philadelphia-Toronto at 3:07, and just a pretty good collection of pitchers. Luzardo, I know he got his face punched in thoroughly last time, but I'm not ready to. That could have just been a blip is what I was going for. It wasn't good. He was horrendous, but I assume he's still fine. Bassett's been pretty good this season. You mentioned Festus. What do you got?
I just really quickly, because I saw a couple of people talking about it in Discord and chat and stuff. Like, if you are playing on the FanDuel slate, I think that the Detroit team is a really good pivot off of some of those offenses we just talked about. Sean Burke is awful, and Parker Meadows being back gives you like a a really solid 3-man. Now, like Riley Green out of the lineup, you can kind of go like Perez, Carpenter, Meadows as like a 3-man stack. So I just wanted to quickly point that out. And I do like the Royals on the FanDuel slate. I don't know. Are they all? I'm guessing they're on the FanDuel slate. I haven't looked.
Yeah.
I looked at the contest size and I was like, yeah, I'm playing on DraftKings this morning. So
they don't care. Yeah.
I will say like Detroit and Kansas City, because we're not going to get to a lot of conversation about those teams with like what Dean was saying. So I saw some people talking about FanDuel in chat. So I wanted to just quickly say that I think both of those offenses are good, but I still think like Minnesota and that Dodgers game is where you're going to find a lot of your offense on this slate.
I'll say Caglione. Caglione is still really, really cheap, and he's facing Miles Michaelis, who's not going to miss bats. I think he's 2.5 over there.
No nay.
What?
Caglione.
Well, you're adding. You're doing
He's Italian. He's Italian.
I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have they dubbed him in what's his name? The Pasquatch, Vinny Pasquantino, like they done like some sort of Italian moniker for the two of them? Is that happening?
I feel like they can make some really cool shirts, right?
Yeah. They could do like a Mario and Luigi thing, or if they want to work that angle somehow.
Oh, see, that's a good one. That's probably one of the first good ideas I think I've ever heard you say.
It's only took 10 years.
We've been working together longer than that.
Well, yeah, but I didn't start sharing my ideas. I didn't feel comfortable for the first couple of years.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that makes
sense. Now I know why. They get shot down so quickly. Robbie Ray and Cheese wrote about this in his article as well. Like Robbie Ray has been consistent. He's been the model of consistency. Don't look now, or look. 7 straight quality starts. The walks have been in check as well. He's throwing baseballs in a good ballpark. He's expensive. You got to pay for him. He's 10-3. I think he's the most expensive pitcher on the board. But that's probably going to keep his ownership in check. We currently have 18%. I'm interested. Wu, really, really solid pitcher. His splits aren't great against lefties. We're probably going to see a slew of lefties as far as strikeouts. 22% or so on the season. Not horrendous, but not optimal per se. Did we get Baltimore? Is that no Baltimore just yet? Should be coming out soon. Well, because again, that's not for 3:40 on the East Coast. I think it's the latest game on the slate. No. Mets Dodgers is a half hour after that. But pitching is good, Stevie. It's pretty easy to find yourself in the 2 starting pitchers. How do you have them prioritized? Are you in on the Cease chalk? He's on the other side of that Ray game. I'm curious your assessment when it comes to pitchers. Is it like give me 2 of these 5 and just whatever works with your stacks? Or are you starting with, I want to definitely have this pitcher? Like, how are you building your lineup? I know you're a hand builder. Are you starting with, this is my stack, or these are my pitchers? And who are those pitchers?
Do you know Robbie Ray and what a lot of his success has been this season? I'm just curious if you do know. If not, I'll tell you because I was going to tell the people anyway.
Has he changed his pitch mix?
He has. So he added a changeup, and do you know who he learned a changeup from this offseason?
Yes, Tarek Skubal.
Yes. So the Cy Young giving out
that.
some.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I read that in the preseason or spring training, whatever. I make very, very few future bets, and I have Robbie Ray doing the Cy Young at like 100-1, maybe 75-1 or something like that. I'm like, if he stays healthy, you never know, and that's part of it. That's half the battle, right, with pitchers. But is that ticket live? I'd be live now, a little live, not really.
I don't know if it's this. Maybe. I mean, you don't really know until after the All-Star break because of injuries and stuff. But like, I think if you're looking at Ray, you're looking at like how he's kind of throwing that changeup out of the same arm slot as his fastball and slider. And this changeup, he doesn't use it a lot, but man, it has a 45% whiff rate on it this year. And like, he's just throwing more strikes. He can pitch with a little bit more finesse now. So I think Robbie Ray that we have this year is a guy that we can kind of rely on, which is nice. So I like Robbie Ray a lot. I think like top end pitcher, he's very much in play today. Thing is, like, we like the Twins, and the Twins are still not like overly expensive, so it's really easy to kind of go Robbie Ray, Dylan Cease, Luzardo. Like, I mean, I think all 3 of those pitchers are in great spots. Luzardo has one of the best pitches in baseball. His sweeper is one of the best pitches in baseball. Like, it is incredible. That pitch has a 48% whiff rate on it, and he uses it 27% of the time. So it's one of the best pitches. Among starters, like, the best pitch among starters this year has been Cole Reagan's with his changeup. But anyway, so I mean, I think all three of these guys, all three of these guys are just in a really good spot. Robbie Ray, Jesus Luzardo, Dylan Cease. Like, you get that game in San Diego, San Francisco, that should be a really low scoring baseball game just in general. So I like that game. Ballpark. Strikeouts are a little limited, but outside of like these three guys, like, we don't really have a ton of strikeout upside. Like, Wu is going to go out and pitch to contact, try to generate ground balls. He's going to throw a lot of strikes. He doesn't walk anybody. So not necessarily the best spot against Baltimore. You got to really be able to attack the Baltimore lineup. Bassett, he would probably be like the next argument, but he's so inconsistent and he struggles with lefties, and they have a lot of power lefties in that lineup. So, I mean, Festa would be that next like guy. Him and Eflin, like, if you're just looking for some tournament risk, but I think I'd rank my top three today: Ray, Cease, Luzardo, considering price, and then just say after that maybe a little bit of Festa or Bassett and Eflin. But I'm going to try to build around those top three, or I did build around those top three.
Giving a refresh here to Lineup HQ as far as ownership stuff, and it's really interesting because you talked about liking Ray and talk about liking Luzardo. Luzardo currently 8%, and that's large field, right? Probably even less in single entry stuff, smaller field stuff. There's 10 players throwing baseballs today. Spence wouldn't make my 150 pool. Knack wouldn't. I don't think Peterson would either, although he's been really, really good as far as ground balls. He's just not cheap, and he's facing the Dodgers. You're considering Luzardo in single entry. He's in the conversation. Probably not going to make it for me. And Ray at 50% would be amazing. I would love that if that's how it plays out.
In my single entry build right now, I have Ray Luzardo just because Cease is going to be chalky, but I'm playing the Twins, so I don't want to play Twins Cease because I think that's a really chalky build, and I like to be different in single entry. I don't play single entry like a lot of people. So I'm perfectly okay with losing like 10 slates as long as I win one out of those like next 15 or so. So
what do you win when you win?
What's that?
What do you win when you win? What do you win when you're right? It's not about I'm 1 for 15. You could be 1 for 15 and up thousands of dollars because when you were right, you got paid off for being right. Go ahead.
Yeah. So no, I'm just saying like that's where I'm at my build personally. But I think like Ray Cease would be the build. Like if I was playing large field stuff, that'd be like my favorite build. Because Ray is not projecting for a ton of ownership. Luzardo, Cease, if you want to save some money, I think is okay. I was a little shocked by Brian Wu getting a ton of ownership on Lineup HQ when I was looking at it earlier, and like I get like the Bassett ownership a little bit. And I thought Festa was a little high ownership wise too. So I think like Cease is just kind of the guy that everyone's playing because he's just too cheap for his talent and his upside.
Yeah, I agree with that. And great ballpark as well, obviously. The Festa one, by the way, there as far as umpire data, I think we have one extreme hitters umpire, and I believe that is with Luzardo. Let me just go ahead and confirm. I was just looking at that earlier. Yeah, Luzardo and Bassett have the extreme hitters umpire. Side note, Fleet Thursday. The second clue is scrolling on the screen. It is cheerful, temper, and cheerful, and we may already have a winner. We may already have a winner of this. So we'll tell the story of this later on. But interesting fun little backstory.
Someone already got it in Discord.
I believe so. He's coming in really, really strong as far as ownership. We just got the Baltimore lineup, by the way. Let's see. It's a Holiday, Rushman, Henderson, O'Hearn, Carlson jumping up to the 5 spot. Okay, so they're playing both catchers. Carlson, Kierstead, Rivera, Mateo, Handler. So obviously there's no Mountcastle, there's no O'Neill who's hurt, there's no Mullins who's hurt. Mountcastle's hurt too. There's somebody else. No one of the regulars is not in there. I can't quite figure it out.
What do you think about
Cody Mayo and Cowser?
Not to change the subject too much, but what do you think about Dominic Smith getting another go for another team? Like,
I saw his name pop up the other day on the starting lineups page, and I'm like, Dominic Smith? Like, I had to I did like a double take.
Second, I saw it too. I was like, what are we doing? I was like, oh.
And then I'm always like, I follow the league really closely. I talk about baseball every single day. I'll take a day off sometimes in the weekend, that kind of thing. And I'm like, has he been playing all year and I just missed it? Have I just missed that Tom Smith's been playing baseball? And I don't want to say that out loud because then I'll sound silly. You're doing this for a living. But what's crazy
about him, like one of the top prospects in all of baseball is like the first baseman for San Francisco. Bryce Aldridge. Like,
he just got promoted to AAA.
I know, but like, why? Just like, who cares? Like, let him get some experience at the majors. Why are you playing Dom Smith? Like, whatever.
How old do you think Dom Smith is?
33.
I thought he was older too. He's just 29.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's. I mean, you know what he is basically, right? He's got a little bit of pop there. I don't know if there's much left there, but
he's totally gonna hit a home run today. Now that I've like dogged him so much in the last 10 minutes.
If there is like a profile of a player that he hits a homer against, it's probably like a guy like Dylan Cease, right? Tough ballpark, of course, obviously, but apparently Austin Riley just homered. There's a baseball game going on right now. I think the Braves are playing the D-backs? Holmes versus Falk. I know Falk got fully pummeled last time. I'm not sure if that's happening once again, but didn't have a chance. I was considering betting Atlanta, but did not get a chance to hit that one up. Okay. Jonathan India had a homer. The one time on the FanDuel slate, man, he's like the greatest fade ever because he has no punch at all, and he always comes up as chalk. India homered, so good for him versus Michaelis. All right. Anything else you have as far as pitchers you want to stress that you want to point out? But can I point this one out? Our projection team does a great job, and I think the Festa pitches are a little bit high. I think I'll take the under on 94. I'm curious what the bat has. I don't really think they're gonna put. Okay, the bat has him 94 as well. No wait,
he got sent down and like his last rehab start was 66. So if you do the general rule of like 15 to 20, that puts him at what 81 to 86 pitches. So I think 90 plus might be a little high.
The bat has him on 77, by the way. So the bat's got 77. I feel better with that projection. And also, again, Baldelli. Rocco Baldelli, just an organization. They also lost Lopez. They really need him. They don't push their guys very hard as far as the starters. Sometimes they just pull them the third time around. That's the stuff.
He got sent down for arm fatigue too, didn't he? Like that was his thing. Like I'm pretty sure that's why he got. That's why he was out? I'm pretty sure. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was out and pitching rehab for arm fatigue. But I could be wrong.
I'm not saying you can't play him. I just think that because he's cheap enough where I think you can play him. And quite frankly, like if you're really scraping the barrel, I think you can play Eflin. I think you can do that. Not with confidence, but if you're spending up on bats, if you're running a bunch of lineups, I think he could be in the pool as a cheapie to get one more big bat. One more question. Andrew's asking about Knack, the pitcher for the Dodgers. There is no Lindor for the Mets, so a little bit easier as far as the path. Of course, the Polar Bear is still in there. Pete Alonso banged out a pair last night. It is let's see. We got Nemo, Marte, Soto, Alonso, McNeil, Taylor, Beatty, Alvarez, and Ronald's brother Acuna in there. Luis Angel.
I think for what it's worth, the Mets have an analytic person because they play the platoon and numbers a lot. Like Knack has really struggled with righties this year, and like we see Lindor out of the lineup, and we see a couple extra right-handed hitters in this lineup, and it's like they're trying to play to Knack's weakness, I feel like, with this lineup a little bit. So I think like you could potentially take some shots on Knack, but the problem is like anytime you're facing the Mets is they're a very low strikeout team. They walk a lot. Like Juan Soto walks a lot. Pete Alonso walks a lot. Jeff McNeil walks a lot. Brendan Nimmo walks a lot. So they run up pitch counts on pitchers so fast because they're such a patient offense and they don't strike out a lot. So it really it limits your upside typically against the Mets. You'll have the outlier games, but typically against the Mets, they're just a tough team to face for right-handed pitching because they have power. They get the ball and play a lot, and they walk a lot. So it just kind of limits your upside.
Yeah, good notes as far as Knack being showing some reverse splits historically. Just want to see how many lefties we officially have for Baltimore because we did get a different iteration. 3 different players. Cowser didn't crack the lineup. Holiday 1, Rushman 2, Henderson 3, O'Hearn 4, Carlson 5, Kierstead 6. So 6 lefties going 1 through 6. Okay. Wu is, as far as his Ks, 21.6% versus lefties this season. They're not amazing versus righties, but they're better, almost 24%. All right. I think Wu's fine, but if he's going to be super popular, he's probably not a guy that's going to put up, a number you absolutely have to have. We'll go ahead and drop that third clue if you guys are still playing this out for fun for the Fleet Thursday. It is golf. Golf is the third clue. Temper, cheerful, and golf. So today's tiers, you set them up for us. Thank you. Thank you for doing that, Stevie. Very, very kind. Yeah, tell the people. They can throw it out there. They can participate. What did you rank as far as today's tiers?
Well, like I told Dean before the show, one, I always try to think of Dean because, I like working with Dean even though I give him crap all the time. And he's a movie guy. So I went top 5 Adam Sandler movies and like the list, the tiers. So I really like this. I think if you're looking at it, Adam Sandler has a gazillion movies and everyone has their own favorite Adam Sandler movie. Like my number 1 Adam Sandler movie is non-negotiable. It will never change. Like it's always going to be that one. I'm kind of delaying a little bit just because I'm trying to give Chad a chance to see like what their top Adam Sandler movies is. And I think like number 5 probably will never change either. And like when I sent you the list, you're like, yeah, you probably got that one right. So I'm interested on your top Adam Sandler movies as well, letting chat kind of do the thing. So, but yeah, I mean, my number 1 Adam Sandler movie is non-negotiable. It's always going to be the same.
You're not going to like my answer, and chat's not going to like my answer. I am seeing Chad Dexter saying Uncut Gems. It has to be the list. I love that movie. It's very stressful. I don't know if you've seen Uncut Gems, but
I have. It's a really good movie. Yeah.
I've never been more stressed like watching a movie. They do a great job with the camera and the music to stress you out. But I like, and speaking of Uncut Gems, traditionally, I do like some of the silly Sandler stuff. I'm not a total snob, and we'll talk about it. But I like serious Adam Sandler. Like serious. When he was like kind of a serious character in Funny People. I really enjoyed Funny People. Great ensemble cast. Judd Apatow, Seth Rogen, and I really like. This is the one that the chat's not going to like probably because they expected like a full-fledged comedy. I like Punch Drunk Love. That's one of my favorites when he plays a serious character. And that's nobody thinks of that movie when they think of Adam Sandler stuff, right? But I think he's a great serious actor when he wants to be. As far as the worst movie, Blended being thrown out in chat, Happy Gilmore being thrown out in chat, that may be on the board. You might have the worst one. It also, if it's not the one you have, it could be Little Nicky, which is also horrendous. I don't know if you've seen Little Nicky.
What is the Spanglish or whatever? That movie was awful.
I kind of like Spanglish a little bit. I kind of liked. I didn't mind Spanglish. I thought it was pretty good. But
I liked his he had a good cast in that movie. And like you were talking about, Punch Drunk Love. That could be interchangeable with my 4. I put 4 in there because I would not turn it off. Like it's one of those movies that I wouldn't turn it off just because I'm a sports person. But I think that 4 number is kind of interchangeable. 3 is interesting. So we're letting I did leave out The Longest Yard. I do like the movie. So Yeezy mentioned that in chat. I like The Longest Yard movie. it's not. It's probably not like top two. Like top two, and then like the rest can be just kind of interchangeable. But I mean, my top two I think will always be kind of the same.
To be clear, 1 is the best. And people know how the tiers work. 5 is the worst. Do you rank 4 as like your 4th favorite, or it's not that good, but maybe like 4 is like kind of like bad too, but not horrendous? Because I'm curious why you do you really like 4? Because I feel like you'd like 4.
No, I like 4. Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I like 4 is like I wouldn't turn it off.
Okay. Yeah.
The only one I don't like on here is 5. Like I thought that I kind of play your game, but that's where I was at.
Ty saying click. I did not like click. That didn't work for me.
Come on, there's better ones.
We do have the board reveal coming shortly. TJ will be showing it off here in just a second. Terrence is on you. Terrence is on you in chat. Yeah. Jack and Jill, where he played not just himself, but like his twin sister, I think it was. There's a famously terrible, it's Al Pacino? Isn't Al Pacino in Jack and Jill just completely getting a paycheck, doing one of the worst scenes of all time? That was Jack and Jill, right? You've seen it before, not happily, but
oh god, I haven't watched Jack and Jill in a long time, but it was atrocious.
I feel like he was singing about something weird. I think that was I've tried to block it out. 51st Date's getting some love there in the chat, but yeah, I think the chalk is Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Wedding Singer. That's kind of how you have them. Pretty interchangeable for me. I don't think I have a definitive answer, but anything else you want to say as far as the board? And Hustle was the Netflix movie that came out recently. That actually was good. It was a good.
Yeah, I thought it was
movie.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the Hernan Gomez brothers was in it. Not Wancho, right? Was it Billy? I think it was Billy, right?
No, Wancho was. I thought Wancho was
Wancho?
like the. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I like good sports movies. We don't have a ton of. I mean, we have a bunch of great sports movies. Let me just say that.
I think there's anymore. They've stopped making them. Yeah,
so you don't get good sports daddies as much, or I saw Big Daddy sports movies as much as we used to. So like I thought Hustle was good. I thought it was well done. Yeah, I mean the basketball play was cool. They brought in a lot of basketball players, which I thought was good. So sports daddies, yeah.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards is in it, has a little bit of a cameo. He does some good trash talking. And Boban has a nice little part in that movie as well, too. Yeah, it's funny because I see Nate in chat said watched Happy Gilmore last night. I've not watched Happy Gilmore in 20 years, but I was watching the hockey game. Shout out to TJ and Edmonton. My Panthers lost in overtime. Good game. But on the ice, they had an ad for Big Daddy, not Big Daddy 2, for Happy Gilmore 2. And like subliminally, I'm like, oh, well, if I'm going to watch the sequel, I'll watch Happy Gilmore 2. I don't demand it, but I'll watch it. I'm sure it's fine, I guess. We'll see. But I'm like, let me freshen up. I haven't seen this movie in forever.
You haven't seen Happy Gilmore in 20 years?
Oh, yeah. What was the last time I would watch? Why would I watch Happy Gilmore? It's fine.
Gosh, because it's always on. It's always good.
Well, everything. Here's the thing, Stevie. Everything is always on. If you have everything is always on. Name something and it's on. I promise you, I can find it in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I talk about this all the time on the podcast, but like I'll watch like MLB TV on my second monitor, and I always have like Rays or Marlins up on my TV because like they're local for us, so it's always just on. And I prefer watching like instead of using my Apple TV, I prefer watching on my secondary screen, so it's easier to like switch through games like I want to. But anyway, I mean, I'll get done with like a Marlins or Rays game, and I'll like flip, and I watch Harry Potter so much because it's always on. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah.
I lost the movie bet and I had to watch Harry Potter. I've only seen the first one. It was
really my wife is a Harry Potter nut. My daughter and my wife.
Universal Studios thing. Is it Universal Studios?
Well, listen, I'm old, so I'll wait until it calms down a little bit. But yeah, I want to go to Epic Universe for sure.
Okay, yeah, I know they have a big thing going on. You're not too far from there, so I imagine your wife's going to insist on making a trip there at some point if you guys have not already been. All right, Philadelphia, Toronto, 5 games, going to throw them in some tiers. Jesus Luzardo, got pummeled last time out, but historically a good pitcher. Chris Bassett's been solid this year as well, but also some pretty good offensive players, especially in the Philadelphia side here you can consider. 2 teams that probably aren't going to be played. Vlad is really cheap on FanDuel, I'll say that. Vlad is like 3-2 over there, so despite the fact that Luzardo I think is good, that price is also really good. Where do you have the Blue Jays and the Phillies on the board?
So the Blue Jays, I'd put them in like the hustle range. I could see using like a mini stack or just chasing some power, like Vlad, Springer, Clement. Like those would be the three guys that I'd be looking at. Like Kirk has been good. The problem is like Luzardo, where he struggled this year, he really hasn't given up a ton of power outside of, like you said, he got kind of pummeled in his last start. But if you look outside of that start, I think he's only allowed 3 earned runs like twice outside of that. So he's pitched really well this year, and he's been a lead against lefties, and he just doesn't give up a ton of power. So I'd be just kind of chasing Vlad, Springer, Clement, and putting them in that hustle range. And then on the other side of this game, Harper and Schwarber make them interesting. But outside of them, like they still have some righties in here. Bassett's very good against righties. So kind of put Philly in that hustle range as well. I just don't see full stacking either one of these teams. I think both of these teams are just like, okay, mini stack or chasing some home runs, but not full stacks for me today.
Day game after a night game, and Realmuto left yesterday's day game with a groin. He's got a groin, so he cannot play basketball. He can't play basketball or baseball today. I have hustle on my mind, apparently. That's why we have a backup catcher here for Philadelphia. Minnesota, the most popular team on the board, 5.8 team total, locked in for 9 versus the Athletics versus Mitch Spence and whatever nonsense coming out of the bullpen. For the record, their best pitcher, Mason Miller, hasn't pitched like in 6 days or 5 days. So this might be a situation maybe where they just give an inning no matter what the situation is, possibly. It's been, since I was just looking at it. He's not pitched since Saturday. Yeah, so he's sometimes they just let him go, even though he's the closer. Not him specifically, just closers. They'll throw him out there in the non-save situation just because the situation has not been in play for about a week or so. Vesta taking on Mitch Spence. We have Buxton and then a bunch of dudes that are pretty cheap. Cody Clemens cracked the lineup. We saw last night that Correa was scratched late in the evening, so he also is not playing the day game after the night game. So he must be dealing with something. Not sure if he's available or not. A lot of Jeffers, the catcher in the 3 spot. Looks like your cash game catcher most likely if you're playing cash games. How do you see the Twins and the team from parts unknown, the Athletics?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Twins are in the Happy Gilmore range. They're going to hit some Bob Barker and crush some baseballs today. So, I mean, when you're looking at it, Mitch Spence probably doesn't pitch more than 40 or 50 pitches. He just pitched 4 days ago. He's not stretched out. So we talked about it. The bullpen is awful again this season. You mentioned Miller. If it's a close game, your stack's probably not doing what you want them to be doing anyway. Maybe they throw Miller out there for an inning, but they have been very careful with him.
Yeah.
He's their future. I mean, he is electric, I think is the best way to put it. So you're going to get a lot of these like bullpen arms that are not great, whether it be lefties or righties. But I think the Twins are the best stack on the slate, so they're going in that Happy Gilmore range. And then I put the Athletics in the Billy Madison. I mean, great hitting conditions. The ballpark is awesome. You and I both agree we don't expect Festa to go extremely deep in this game. Problem is Minnesota's bullpen is really good. So, like, if this game is a close game and they're using these good bullpen arms, then it could be a tough spot for the Athletics. But I think you're still looking to stack them. I don't think you're looking at one-offs here. Outside of maybe Soderstrom, like I'm okay with one-offing him because I think first base is kind of limited today. Butler, Rooker, Soderstrom, Bengaliers. The bottom half of this lineup is really interesting today. Max Muncy, the other Max Muncy, has not been great this season.
Really, Mackiver?
Yeah, they recently call him up?
Yeah, I don't think he's a prospect. He's 28 at this point. He's almost 29. Yeah. As of 2021, he was the 15th ranked prospect. At some point, I guess he got ranked out or something like that. But okay,
he couldn't crack it in the Rockies. He couldn't crack it in the Rockies organization. So I mean,
it's a bad sign.
Yeah, I personally am looking at an Athletics stack.
But the front half, I assume you're focusing on.
Yes,
Clark's got some speed. He's cheap, but I don't think there's a lot of pop in that bat. Good center fielder. Apparently, he's really a good covering ground out there in center field, my understanding. Made one of the plays of the year we saw not too long ago. Let's scoot along. We have two games
really
down.
quick. Eddie in chat says, with Spence on a pitch count, any worry a lefty comes in? I don't think they pinch hit early. Like, I think the pinch hit risk would be like in the 6th, 7th inning. They do have quite a bit of lefties in the bullpen, for what it's worth. So I do think that's a little bit of a risk. So if you are playing the Minnesota bats, maybe you're a little concerned about that. But, with Correa kind of out right now, who is their backup?
Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, Royce Lewis potentially, I guess, but I think today might be a little bit like less worrisome.
Jonah Bride is not good.
Yeah, I think they might let Wallner and Larnick both hit lefty at least once today.
I feel like Cody Clemens might be the guy that's most likely to get pinch hit for if you're going to pick
like
one.
A Royce Lewis.
Yeah, I think that's I don't know what position he's playing specifically, and we can check out and we can do a little Chico with the bat. But top of my head, I'm thinking that if there's a most likely candidate, it's Cody Clemens to get the pinch hit here for Minnesota. Let's see. I'm going to take a peek. We have time. Let's see what the bat has to say. All right, you can pull up. You can go by team. Shout out to the bat. Shout out to Derek Carty. Carty will be on in a little bit. I can't quite pull the team up for some reason, but here's Cody Clemens. 19% pinch hit risk for Clemens, according to the bats. I did not sort by team, though. I probably should have, and maybe I could see somebody else. But that's the first one to me. That seems like most likely candidate. Fourth clue for Fleet Thursday. We're just playing it out for funsies now, and I guess it's fictional. Fictional is the word. Temper, cheerful, golf, and fictional. This was not intentional, Stevie. This was not intentional. I made this list last night. So again, today's tiers are Adam Sandler movies, and I made this list last night of athletes: temper, cheerful, golf, and fictional. Just a coincidence, if you haven't quite pieced it together just yet. And it's been guessed already in the Discord. Shout out to Blink 182. Baltimore, Seattle, 7.5 the total. Zach Eflin versus Brian Wu. Tough ballpark, obviously, to hit baseballs. Rowley's back in there. By the way, he did say he's down for the home run derby. He's got to be in for that. You got to imagine they're going to ask him. I did see that quote the other day, so that'll be nice to see. Backup catcher for Baltimore, Hanley as well as Rushman. So one of those guys must be DHing. There's no Mayo. There's no several players. Well, obviously they're regulars. Mountcastle, Tyler O'Neill, Mullins. It's not the best iteration of Baltimore as far as their lineup. Kauser's not in there also. So it's a good lineup for Wu to pick up, with the slight exception of the fact he's facing 6 lefties at the top. Yeah. Baltimore, Seattle, what do you got?
I'm going to put Seattle in the wedding singer range. When Eflin struggles, it's typically lefties. You can definitely play Crawford, Polanco, Riley, Tellez. So I think like the ballpark, if this was a different ballpark, maybe we'd have a little bit more interest in Seattle, but they're not projecting for a ton of ownership. So I think that you put Seattle in that like wedding singer, potentially playable. Eflin's such a low strikeout pitcher, kind of pitches to contact. And they have a lot of power with Riley, Tellez, Polanco, Rodriguez. So I could see Seattle scoring 5, 6, 7 runs today. Baltimore, I'm going to put them. I think I put them in the hustle. I don't know if I want to put them all the way down because the top half of this lineup is just so good, but they'd be a mini stack for me. They're interesting in tournaments because Wu is going to be so chalky, but more of a 150 build than like a 3-entry max build, I think is where you'd be getting exposure to Baltimore today. Holiday, Rutschman, Henderson, O'Hearn, Carlson is kind of where I'd be looking here.
By the way, Acuna and Baldwin just went back-to-back for the Braves. I am tilting. I just saw that score, and man, sometimes it works out when you get distracted, and then you don't get your bet in, but Braves just absolutely hammering Brandon Pfaadt. He's out of the game by now, but it's 9-3, bottom of 6. Of course, the Braves do it on a slate when nobody's paying attention. A slate that doesn't even exist, and a game that nobody even cares about. Because what do you got, TJ?
I bet Acuna to hit home runs the last 2 nights. Didn't hit one.
Not
And then today I was not, didn't even notice that game was happening. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And Vaught just had like, if you're digging into his stuff, he had regression monster written all over him. It happened last game, and it's happening again. They're gonna need him. They're gonna need somebody, because have they officially said what Corbin Burns? I think it's a second opinion right now. It doesn't look good though with Burns. It looks like it could potentially be seen. I don't want to say it. I'm not playing doctor, but what do we have? Do we have an official report on Burns, Stevie, or we don't know just yet? Just not so good.
Didn't sound great. The last thing I read, but I haven't read about it in a few days, so I don't know.
All right, 2 games to go. 4 more teams to throw on the board. Giants at home against the Padres. 7.5 total. 2 good pitchers. Dylan Cease, Robbie Ray, the super consistent Robbie Ray, in his tight pants. Will be throwing baseballs here versus the Padres. Dom Smith is back in our lives in theory as a super cheapie here on the Giants. Daniel Johnson, by the way, is leading off. Who's not playing for them? Yaz. Yaz is not playing. Well, yeah, Yaz is not playing today. Is anybody else goofy? Anybody else missing? I'm not really sure. But there you go. San Diego, they have their key regulars, Tatis, Machado, and Merrill in there as well. Rise, of course, in the 2-hole, left on left there versus Robbie Ray. How do we have the Padres and the Giants?
Yeah, Flores not playing either. So,
yes.
The Giants, like, you could always target a home run off of Cease. Like, Ramos or Chapman would be my 2 favorites. But, man, they're in that Jack and Jill range today. One of the reasons that Dylan Cease is so chalky and in such a good spot outside of being cheap, like, this lineup today looks atrocious. Yeah, you can make an argument for any team on a 5-game slate. If you're playing 150 teams, you're probably getting exposure to all 10 of these offenses. But I typically play like single and 3 entry, and Dean's asking me, and I'm putting them way down at the bottom. No interest here when you're looking at this lineup. Like I said, you could chase a home run with like Ramos or Chapman, maybe even Adames, but this lineup looks awful today. And then the other side of this game, the San Diego side, now like Xander Bogaerts is banged up. Like Machado, awesome. He is great against left-handed pitching. 310 ISO, 440 WOBA, crushes left-handed. The rest of this lineup stinks against left-handed pitching. Jackson Merrill's numbers are going to come down. If you look at his advanced stats, he struggles lefty-lefty. So I'm putting them in Jack and Jill as well. Like, target some home runs if you want to. If you're playing 150, get exposure. Robbie Ray's been awesome this year. He does give up fly balls, which I think does benefit a guy like Machado. But overall, both of these pitchers, we talked about it, both of these pitchers are 2 of the top pitchers on the slate. Don't have to overthink it too much here on a 5-game slate.
Yeah, you mentioned Daniel Johnson leading off, who's not been good. You know, he's almost 30 years old, essentially basically a career minor leaguer. Probably a pinch hit risk for the record if a lefty comes in. It feels like fool's gold, though. I don't know if like optimizers like him just because he's 2K and leading off, but I don't know. I mean, generally speaking, if I'm needing a punt, like, somebody's 2K and they're leading off, yeah, okay. But he doesn't look very good, what I'm seeing. Hard to get excited about that. Crunch time coming in about 5-10 minutes or so. You got CEO of the Bat and the Blitz, Derek Carty. I see Tasteful Tides. Tim is hanging out in the bullpen. I saw him in the lurking in the chat earlier. He was trying to poke me. He was trying to he was saying, what an amazing list, because I mentioned that you made the list. So he was very, unless he really liked it. Maybe he really liked the list. I don't know. It's certainly possible both things can be true. And then you have chief mineralogist Kevin Roth. Nothing really lurking out there as far as weather, unless giving it a refresh. No, we're pretty clean. A lot of green. I'll drop the link in chat for the people just in case. Last game, Mets, Dodgers. Both teams without one of their stars. No Freeman for the Dodgers, no Lindor for the Mets. Nemo is leading off there. We don't have the 2K shortstop. Speaking of 2K players, he's not been good. I've been playing the past 2 nights. The prospect for the Mets, and he's getting the day off as well. But it's Knack versus Peterson. Peterson, a ton of ground balls. A lot of ground balls. Knack, you mentioned before, kind of reverse splitsy. So, certainly a good spot. Always a good spot for the Polar Bear. Pete Alonso, your thoughts? Mets, Dodgers.
Yeah, I'm going to put the Dodgers in the Billy Madison range. You mentioned Peterson's ground balls. It doesn't affect a team of bunch of fly ball hitters like Will Smith, Teoscar Hernandez, Andy Paez, Kiki Hernandez. They're all fly ball hitters. So his low strikeouts is the biggest thing. He has a 19.5% K rate against righties this year. Elite against lefties, so maybe you bump down Ohtani a little bit because of Ohtani's price. And just hope that he doesn't hit 2 home runs today. Because even if like Ohtani hits 1 home run at his price, he probably doesn't like necessarily beat you on a 5-game slate. So, yeah, I mean the righties I think are in play here. I think this is an excellent above average home run spot for Will Smith and Teoscar Hernandez. I know Spidey isn't doing his home run calls today.
Spidey's napping. Yeah,
he's taking a nap. But Will Smith, Teoscar Hernandez would be like towards the top of my list for home runs today when you're looking at their batted ball profile. And I'm going to put the Mets in the Billy Madison range as well. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. Twins, Mets, Dodgers, my 3 favorite stacks on the slate. Landon Knack, he can't get righties out. This lineup went very right-handed heavy, which was interesting today. Like, wasn't kind of expecting them to do that. So we get some cheap bats towards the bottom of this lineup, but Pete Alonso, excellent spot for him. Knack can't get righties out, gives up a ton of hard contact to righties. Sterling Marte hitting second, like that as well. Soto, obviously. And then I don't mind, like, Brett Beatty because, like, Knack is an okay strikeout pitcher, but his strikeout rate is very fool's gold. That's, like, the term, right? Like, it's not going to stay 27% against lefties. Like, you look at his advanced stats, like a 21% whiff rate does not support a 27% strikeout rate against lefties. So there's going to be some regression coming to that strikeout number once we get the season going more. So, yeah, I mean, I would stack both of these offenses today.
All right, got to recap the board here in just a second. Stevie, think of some homers, 1 at each tier if you don't mind, 1 up top, 1 in the middle, 1 down low. The board is as follows. Stevie ranked if you missed it, if you're just joining us now, you're kind of tuning in for Crunch Time, which will be on here shortly. Stevie ranked Adam Sandler movies. Got Happy Gilmore all the way at the top. One team hanging out with Happy. That's the Minnesota Twins. Billy Madison has 3 teams. That's the Athletics, the Dodgers, and the Mets, the 2 teams we just talked about. Right in the middle, Wedding Singer, that's the Seattle Mariners. The 4 spot, which Stevie likes the 4 more than the traditional 4. It's fine. He liked Hustle, but not as much as the other 3 movies. That's Toronto, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and bottom of the barrel, 2 teams facing each other in a tough ballpark to bang out some homers. It's Jack and Jill and Al Pacino. Didn't Al Pacino do like a Dunkin' Donuts like song or skits? It's one of like the worst 5 minutes in the history of cinema, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like that happened in Jack and Jill. I tried to block it out, and I just pulled it up, and apparently, who remembers this? Katie Holmes was the female lead. Did not know that. I'm certain I saw this movie. Not happily, but I did see it. All right, speaking of happily, today's Fleet Thursday. The last clue was tier, because I changed that clue once I saw Stevie's tiers. The last clue was tier. I think y'all kind of pieced it together. Discord kind of pieced it together. Clue number 1 was temper. Number 2 was cheerful. 3 golf. 4 fictional. And again, I made this before our tiers were ever even made. Just kind of worked out that way. It is, in fact, Happy Gilmore is today's athlete. He's got a temper, happy, cheerful. He's a golfer. He's fictional. I swapped out one of my other clues and put in tier at the last second, but doesn't matter. Just playing out the string. All right, we gave you some time. Who are today's home run picks? 3 different tiers. What do you got for me?
Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Hold on. Let's see. I like Will Smith a lot. I just said that. So I guess he's in the upper tier. The one thing that I do, I love living in Florida, but man, I hate only having one sports book because it's so hard for Dean and I to bet home runs because our odds are just so terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I bet so many more like total bases than I bet home runs because we typically get better odds on total bases than anywhere else. So it's like kind of a trade-off. So give me Will Smith to go yard, Soderstrom to go yard, and that low, cheap home run. Let's go Cody Clemens to go yard.
Ooh, Cody Clemens. There you go. You better get it early. Like we said, There's a chance he gets the hook at some point. Actually, how many lefties do the? Oh, isn't Newcomb a lefty? I'm pretty sure
They have a lot of lefties in the bullpen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Newcomb might be reverse splitsy. I don't know if the Twins know about that. But how many lefties are? Well, Miller is a righty. Hogan Harris is their long man. He's not going to go because he went yesterday. Yeah, Newcomb. It's Newcomb and McFarland. Who is he? Just coming off the IL? Looks like he's just coming off the IL. Assuming they're activating him today. Yeah, according to the roster resource, he's in the bullpen, so he hasn't pitched in a while. So maybe they throw him out there right off the IL. So 2 lefties, really. I don't think Harris goes. He's pitched 2 in the last 3 days, so probably not available. You never know. Boldest fade. Who's your boldest fade today, Stevie? You don't make a lot of lineups. I don't make a lot of lineups. You got to make some tough decisions. What is it you want? And you said you already made your lineup. Of course, you reserve the right to change it. What is it that you wanted that you didn't quite get?
No, I mean, I guess my boldest fade, I'm only playing single entry contests, like I have multiple single entry contests, is I already said it. I'm playing Luzardo over Cease today because I am playing Twins. So yeah, I mean, I guess my boldest fade is Cease. And when you look at the Giants lineup, you're like, why are you being dumb? So I guess that's my boldest fade, but I think Cease is a great play. So don't listen to me when it comes to that.
And Dom Smith and Andrew Kisner.
Daniel Johnson.
Andrew Kisner is on the Giants? This is another one where, like, has he been in the Giants all year and I just missed it? I just don't. This is the guy who used to play for Minnesota. Has he been a Giant all season long and I just have not acknowledged it? Okay, no, he hasn't. This is the first time he's playing baseball for. He was in AAA. I feel better now. Yeah, that's a terrible lineup. It's really bad. Okay. With that, Crunch Time is here. They're fully assembled. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. We have Derek Carty, CEO of the Bat and the Blitz. We have TastefulTides. Tim, one of the best single entry players in the business. Let's do it. Let's bring him in. It's Crunch Time right now. All right, Tim, you're going to be back later. You were complimenting how well Stevie put together a list. You never. I mean, I don't. This is not something I keep track of. But I don't recall you ever once complimenting a list I've ever made. I know. Is that just? I mean, is that I'm due for?
Sounds about right.
Your lists are generally pretty terrible. But this one was spot on. So this was a perfect list.
You got to make a list of all my bad lists and power rank my bad lists.
I would love to do that.
We have time. I have a Carty question. So Derek, fellow baseball Derek, I see your button down today, showing off the chest. What do you think about these college kids that are like buttoning down their jerseys and like showing off their chests? Like there's a lot of people talking about it.
Is this like athletes during games?
No, baseball games. Yeah, I mean they're like buttoning down their jerseys. I
have not.
No undershirt.
So the
no undershirt, just straight chest. Yeah.
Baseball players are buttoning down their jersey. I mean, I'm a fan of the button down, but when you're playing baseball, like you should be going for maximum efficiency. Like you should be optimizing for performance, not for, I don't know, aesthetic or whatever. So no, I'm not a fan of it.
What if it's really hot? They're trying to like cool down.
Well, if that optimizes for performance, then sure. But I would imagine, knowing kids these days, that it's not that hot.
We're going from BVP to how many buttons do they have loose? Maybe this guy's batting with 2 buttons down today, so he's going to hit better.
Gotta quantify it.
Yeah.
Carty said, "Kids these days, are you old man yelling at the clouds? Do you like when the kids pip a homer? Are you into that, or you besmirch that?"
Yeah. What was that last part you said?
Do you like when the kids pip a homer, like when they throw the bat?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay, you're into that.
In a lot of ways, I'm old man yelling at the clouds, but no, that let them have fun.
I think, and I don't watch college baseball, but I remember seeing, I think it was a John Boy breakdown or something like that. I'm sure everybody knows about John Boy, but spectacular. I love it. The lip reading stuff is just second to none. But Stevie, are they still ejecting people for celebrating too hard in college baseball? Is that still a thing?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it in weeks, but I saw the video you're talking about. Yeah, so
yeah, let them have a good time. You hit a homer, enjoy yourself. But
All
all right.
Roth looks so happy, so let's get out of here. Let him do his job. And are you having fun with Tampa Summers yet?
Dude, the last few days have been every bit as I expected the whole season would go. So I'm just glad there hasn't been a whole lot of that. Shout out to Andrew, who says elite calls in Tampa last night, Roth. Thank you.
It rains literally every day. Every day here.
Yeah,
I like
which is
Tampa
great for my
tonight.
yard.
Don't screw us, Roth. Work your magic. I don't know where we're at.
Yeah.
Put a call in. All right. Myself and Stevie, appreciate watching the first portion. Y'all got Tasteful Tides Tim, Derek Carty, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth, holding it down for the next 35 minutes, taking y'all at the first pitch. Roth, it is all yours.
Let's do it. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's crunch time. Got an early version, 1:30 in the proper time. That's Central Time Zone. That's the good time. These Eastern boys, they don't know what they're missing. Two of the sharpest minds in the biz. You got Tasteful Tides. Tim in the house. What up, Tim?
Yeah, not much. We got a full day of baseball. I'll be on later with Dean for Grinders Live to talk about the main slate. But yeah, this early slate's it's I thought it was actually going to be kind of stale, but I think that it is pretty interesting. At least for hitters, I think there's a lot of different ways you can go about playing this smaller slate.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to kind of diving into it, breaking it down. Derek Carty, creator, inventor, CEO of the Bat and the Bat X Enterprises. What up, Carty? How are you?
Doing pretty well. We got a lot of games for a Thursday. I mean, spread out, but it's always nice to have a lot of Thursday games.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. Let's dive into it. Weather-wise, there are no weather concerns for the early slate. Dean kind of alluded to. We'll be monitoring Tampa later today, watching Pittsburgh as well. But neither of those are on this slate, and that leaves us with no real weather issues. So I'm off the hook for the morning slate. And that is a good reminder that I'm off the hook for the next week entirely. So if you come to my Twitter and you're looking for updates, or if the forecast is wrong and you're like, wow, Roth, you suck. It wasn't me. But I have a meteorologist who's a friend of mine who's going to be filling in. He's great. He's on TV. But he can't tweet updates because he's working on TV. His station won't let him do this. So he's doing it on the sly, on the low. So he'll be doing it anonymously, but he is, he's good. So I think y'all are going to be in
the same person that you've had fill in for you in the past.
Yes. I've had a couple people doing it, but this is one of them.
I mean, they've all been really good. So
yeah. He's also a DFS player, so that helps. He's
that's cool.
Yeah, he's got that in. Anyways, I think you guys are going to be fine, but I will be gone for a week, so don't bother me. And with that, let's dive on into things. Tim, I'm going to let you lead off. You said you kind of like this slate. You thought it was interesting, so why don't you start things off?
Yeah, I mean, at first, we got to talk about Dylan Cease. He's 8,200 on DraftKings, and it's like initially, at least for single entries, I was considering fading him, and then I saw this Giants lineup that just seems like a significant downgrade than what I was expecting, and so I was going to play Dylan Cease in cash games, and I think you pretty much have to. But I'm going to be playing Dylan Cease everywhere now, and I'm just going to gladly kind of eat that chalk. And then if he fails, he fails. Whatever, I'll be playing later anyway. So,
and you were going into this not planning on playing.
I was thinking about really considering fading him in single entry, and then maybe being underweight him in like a 3 max setting.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm just gonna go 3 out of 3 everything. I'm just gonna play Dylan Cease. I'm just not gonna goof around. Okay. SB2 is what I think really makes this slate kind of interesting, because I think it's legitimately tough. There are several SB2 candidates, in my opinion. I'd definitely be interested to hear what Derek says about this, but it's like Brian Wu is projected the best, but I don't think he's necessarily a must play, and he's going to be super popular. So I'm considering going Robbie Ray. I'm also considering just going all the way down to Zach Eflin at 6,500. So it's probably not Eflin in cash games, but I think Eflin's a really good play in single entry and large field GPPs. So I'm considering Eflin as my SP2 in single entry. I'm going to reserve the call for SP2 in cash to Derek, because I think he understands his system better, and it's really it's kind of like, we lean on projections really in cash games. But Eflin for me right now in single entry, and then I think I'm going to go Cease and Ray for cash games.
Okay, very good. Carty, I want to bring you in. I guess where do you start? Where do you stand on Cease, and then we'll work through the rest of it.
Yeah, Cease is really good today, especially considering how much cheaper he is than Robbie Ray and Brian Wu. And like Tim said, Giants lineup today is not it. Super high strikeouts. Probably at least one or two guys in that lineup that you probably haven't heard of unless you really follow baseball. So Cease I think is the best play on the slate. He will be popular. Do with that what you will in tournaments. In cash, I think you just pair him with Wu. I don't think you try to get cute. Wu projects considerably better than Robbie Ray. He's facing the weaker offense. He's in the better park, the better weather, the better everything. So just play Wu and Cease. In tournaments, I like the Zach Eflin call a lot. I think Eflin, David Festa, and Chris Bassett are the three that I would be kind of mixing in to be different. So yeah, that's pitching for me.
Okay, very good. That was fairly clear cut. Tim, any questions for Carty before we move on to stacks?
I don't have any questions for Carty at all. I definitely can see going Brian Wu. Just for transparency's sake, I'm going to be playing Robbie Ray in cash. But I'm not disagreeing with Derek at all. I'm just saying what I'm doing. I guess I do have one question. Do you think Jesus Luzardo is a bad GPP play today, Derek?
I mean, on a slate with, what do we have, 5 games? I don't think anyone who has a full leash is not really going to be a bad GPP play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like him today. I don't think he projects well. I don't think the matchup is good. I think he's way too expensive. It doesn't even look like you're going to get like a really big ownership discount on him. Personally, I don't see it, but he has, probably better raw stuff than everybody on the slate except for Ray and Cease, maybe.
See, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, I feel like he's like a top 2 talented pitcher on the slate. And then his projection was far lower than I was expecting, but I guess it is a pretty low K matchup against the Toronto there.
Yeah. And I misspoke before when I said David Festa. Someone actually in chat is pointing it out. He projects well for the price, but he's coming back from injury. I think this is only his 3rd start back. He's not going to be able to go very deep, so I don't think you play him. I think it would be Eflin and Bassett for me.
Okay, very good. Let's flip it. Let's talk about the bats and the stacks. Carty, it seems like we've got a lot of solid pitching options, so maybe we're a little limited in the stack department, but maybe not. What do you like?
Yeah, there's lots of good stacks today. There's none that really stand out. I'd say probably the Mets are the cream of the crop. They project the best. They're reasonably priced. I think they'll probably be the most popular too. But after that, you have another 6 teams that are all really similar. You have the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Twins. I don't mind the Padres against Robbie Ray at all, or the Blue Jays against Luzardo. I think you mix and match all them.
Okay, easy enough. Tim?
Yeah, I do like Minnesota quite a bit. I do think that they're going to be, fairly popular. So I just be aware of that if you're building out, a few teams. I think they are going to be pretty highly owned, but they do have like a close to 6 implied team totals. So, and they are relatively cheap. And I'm not too worried about pinch hit stuff outside of maybe Cody Clemens, but even then, he's only 3,700 and he does fill a second base spot, so I don't mind him necessarily. So Minnesota would probably be my favorite. And then obviously, there's just cheap pitching on the slate, so we can fit the Dodgers pretty easily here.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I don't think David Peterson's a horrible pitcher, but he's definitely not an ace. So like anytime you get exposure to the Dodgers, I think it's a pretty good idea. So, and like I said, it's really easy to do on the slate. So I do like the Dodgers a lot. If we think that Eflin is going to get steamed in ownership, I don't mind getting to Seattle like in large field stuff. But definitely for single entry right now, I'm focusing mainly on Minnesota and the Dodgers.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Guys, let's go around the horn, talk position by position. What is lock 7 after? We'll see if we hang around that long or not. But let's start a catcher. Tim, what do we got? Seattle Seattle is on the board. I know what that means.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you could always play the Big Dumper. Like, he's just amazing and has shown truly elite power this season. But
there's a lot of good catchers today, right? Jeffers, Will Smith, are all
definitely great. There's a lot of pretty good catchers on this very small slate. You're absolutely right. Like, catcher really is not horrible today. Ryan Jeffers, but he is going to be the most popular, I think, by quite a bit. So just be aware of that. But I mean, he's 3,700 in that really good spot against Spence. So he's probably like a really, solid part and probably your cash game guy too. I like Will Smith a lot. And then if you're looking for somebody cheap, probably Francisco Alvarez at 2,900.
Okay, Carty, you got a few names?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the same names. I'll just kind of say that I agree. I think Jeffers is going to be really high owned, but I don't think he's really that much better than Francisco Alvarez or Alejandro Kirk, who you're going to get for 400 cheaper, 800 cheaper. Certainly in tournaments, you don't have to play Jeffers. And then I like Will Smith and Raleigh a lot at the top.
Okay, very good. Before we get to first, Dean with an important announcement. This kid that everyone's been excited about, that he's up in the majors now, Caglione. That guy, first hit, an RBI double. Good job. Kudos to him. He got his first knock. First base, Carty, what do we got there?
Yeah. We have Ohtani at the top, but he's really expensive and it's lefty. I don't think, like, he's great. He's a top guy, but I don't think he's necessarily a priority today. If you can get him, great, certainly in your Dodger stacks or as a one-off in lineups where you have money. But I think it makes more sense to save a bit today. Pete Alonso is the one I think that makes the most sense. He's really good. It's a park upgrade. I think the Mets are the best team today. As much as it seems like Minnesota is going to be picking up like almost as much ownership potentially, like, I'd much rather play Mets guys today. And that certainly starts with Alonso. I think Vlad's also in a really good spot today. The price is good. And then Tyler Soderstrom, if you need to save a little bit of money.
Very good. Tim, thoughts first?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Pete Alonso would be my favorite one-off. I don't mind the Mets today at all. I'm probably not as high as Derek on them, but hey, they are a very, very strong team, and I don't mind Pete Alonso as part of a stack or as a one-off. I have Ohtani today, just because I'm finding it really easy to pay for him. But yeah, it's not like an amazing spot for the Dodgers, but Shohei is so much better than everyone else, so I'm just going to prioritize him. And then I think Bryce Harper might fall through the cracks a little bit here, going up against Bassett at 5,900. So he would be my favorite semi-contrarian first baseman.
Okay, second base.
Second base, I think is really bad today.
What else is new?
Yeah.
I know. I say that every show, but today seems even worse. I know that we kind of like Wu today, but I don't mind Jackson Holiday at 4,100 batting leadoff. And he's not going to be very highly owned, so I think he's he's an okay cash game play and a pretty strong GPP play, because all the ownership's going to go to Wu and nobody's going to play Baltimore. So I don't mind Holiday at all today. Bryson Stott, 4,400. I don't know if I want to pay up for him, especially if he's going to be popular. I do like Tommy Edman, and he's currently in my single entry team right now as part of my 3-man Dodgers stack.
Okay. Carter, your thoughts a second.
Love Holiday in GPPs. You get plenty of leverage off of Wu. Like Tim said, it's a crappy position. He projects as one of the better guys anyway, and he projects for so much less ownership than these other guys that are, they're all more or less kind of the same value-wise. You have Stott, you have Tommy Edman, you have Ernie Clement. I think you're probably picking one of those three for cash, but Holiday in GPP looks really good to me.
Yeah. Okay. Easy enough. Third base.
Ernie Clement, if you're not playing him at second, I think he actually probably makes, well, depending on how you're building. As a value play, a cash play, he might make more sense at third base. In GPPs, obviously you can play him wherever. The top guys are fine, but not great. Manny Machado and Matt Chapman are the top talent-wise, but they're both facing two of the good pitchers. Machado's facing Ray, Chapman's facing Cease. So, like, I don't really want to pay for them. They're not super expensive, but it's still, I don't think it's like an optimal way to allocate your salary, especially because they are probably going to be the two highest owned guys on the slate, them or Alec Boehm. So I'm kind of fine if you want to play of the three. I probably like Machado the most, but I'm fine if you just want to punt it with Clement or Brett Beatty for the Mets or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Tides, your thoughts at third?
Yeah, third is another pretty bad position today. Probably you want to take some savings with Ernie Clement. I don't even mind Kiki Hernandez at 3,700 just because I really like the Dodgers today, but that's for GPPs only. Clement's somebody that I would consider like in single entry, like a cash game type format. I think if I had to if I had the salary and wanted like a contrarian one-off, Manny or Matt Chapman, I would just try to get more leverage and go with the Chapman side. But either one of those two are completely fine as spend ups. I'm not currently playing either one of them in cash or single entry, but they're both going to be solid contrarian GPP options. And don't forget about Brooks Lee in your twin stacks. He is projecting for a lot of ownership, which is a little bit disappointing and weird for an 8-hole hitter, but he's a pretty good salary saving option.
Is it that he's both second and third eligible, and second is so bad, and that's kind of inflating his ownership because you can play him in either spot?
Yeah, I mean he fills two bad positions today, second and third, and he's on probably the highest owned stack of the day. So all those things are kind of inflating his ownership. But I mean they are in a good spot today, and he's a decent hitter, so I don't mind him.
Yeah. TJ pointing out it's actually because he's the best baseball player in baseball.
That's what Dave Potts says. So
TJ and she's absolutely on that Brooks Lee train, man.
Yeah.
Okay, take me to shortstop, Tim.
Yeah, so I just bet Mookie Betts to hit a home run at plus 500.
Nice.
I currently have Mookie Betts in my single entry team. He's probably a little maybe too expensive for cash games. But yeah, he's in my 3-man Dodgers stack. He's my favorite option of the day. I love, same thing with Jackson Holiday. Like I love Gunnar Henderson in GPPs, like just as like a contrarian one-off type play. And then it's shortstop's usually really strong. It's really not that great today. Bo Bichette is fine at 4,200. I wouldn't mind wanting off Willie Adames. And then if you really need the savings and want to just punt the position, JP Crawford would be the guy.
Yeah. Are we stacking against Woo? Is that happening, Tim? Are you secretly doing this?
I am not. But I did have a 3-man Baltimore team, but I found I like going one-offs better today with Baltimore.
Okay.
I am fading Woo though.
Yeah.
I am fading Woo though. Yeah.
Carty, your thoughts at short, please.
Totally on board with the Gunnar Henderson thing. Similar. I don't like Baltimore stacks, but I think Holiday and Henderson are both good one-offs here. Mookie or Bo Bichette, I think, are the cash guys, depending on how much money you have. I think they're both, they both have platoon advantage. They're both pretty good. They're in elite offenses, basically. Well, maybe Bo's not in an elite offense, but he's in a good one. And Willie Adames, I like a lot as a one-off if you're hunting for home runs in tournaments, because he's got a lot of power and you get lots of leverage off of Cease.
Yeah, easy enough. Let's go to the outfield.
Again, Ohtani's at the top, but he's expensive. He's not a priority. I think the guys more in like the low to mid 5K range make more sense today. Juan Soto in particular, I like a lot. Again, I like the Mets a lot today. I think he's I think he's the best expensive outfield play on the slate. Fernando Tatis, I think, is also really good against Robbie Ray. I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure Robbie Ray is really easy to steal against too. So extra ways for Tatis to get there. Once you get down into the mid range, I like more Mets. I like Nimmo. I like Starling Marte. I like Tyrone Taylor. I like Tommy Edman on the other side of the game for the Dodgers. Like those are that's what I'm on today.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Tim, your thoughts on the outfield, please.
Yeah, so obviously you've got like the top guys, Ohtani, Soto, Buxton. All those guys are fantastic. Don't forget about like, Teoscar, Andy Pages.
Yeah.
That range is going to go a little bit lower owned than those three that I just mentioned. So just, don't forget about that range. It's very, very strong today. I don't even mind like a Brent Rooker at 4,700. I think he's a really strong, just one-off type play. Obviously you've got guys like, Trevor Larnach and Matt Wallner as part of that twin stack that I like quite a bit, but they are going to be more popular than the Pajeses, the Rookers, and stuff like that. I don't mind Brandon Nimmo and Starling Marte. They're pretty strong salary saving options. There's not a lot of like really, really cheap outfielders that I like. But I think that there's enough savings at other positions where you really don't need super like guys like under 3K in the outfield. But don't forget about Max Kepler, Willie Castro, Brandon Marsh, I would say are decent salary saving options.
Yeah. Okay, very good. We want to make sure that people are hitting the thumbs up. It is free content that we're putting on twice today. And if you count the multiple shows, we're like 4 free shows, which is crazy. We're basically giving you free content all day long. And all that we ask is that you hit the thumbs up for us. That's it. It's simple. You don't have to pay. You just click the like button. And I want to make sure you're getting the best deal in the industry as well. And that is right here, of course, with RotoGrinders. MLB DFS annual option, $425. Well, we've decided we're going to give you all the sports for that amount. So $425 gets you Combo Pro. So now you're talking content, tools, and projections for every sport except NASCAR, and you're saving 35% by going 6 month instead of month by month by month. And yes, that will very soon be rolling in NFL content as well. So no reason not to sign up for all that. Lone Wolf says, Carty, do you play DFS or do you just projections and sports bet?
I play DFS, but I mean, just to be honest, not as heavily as I did 10 years ago. A lot of that's just running the business, dealing with the sports betting side now, making sure projections are in good shape for everyone else. But I mean, I'm around looking at it every day, and I still play some. Yeah.
Okay. I play during NBA season, I play $1 a night just so that I know what the hell's going on. It's just so that I can host the show and have a general idea of what it's like building. Let's take some QQs. I would love to be out of here by 3:00, if at all possible. But if the questions keep coming, yeah, we'll hang out a little longer. Cubano Shake says DK 3 Max GPP. Tides, I'll give this to you. Festa Cease or Eflin Wu?
Festa Cease.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Jumping over into the YouTube. Mostly just people hanging out, having a good time. Not a whole lot of questions over there.
I did want to hit one question that Anthony Hunt has.
I was just seeing that. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, is it crazy to have a Ray and Cease in the same lineup on this slate? Absolutely not. Not crazy at all.
Yeah. Okay. Carty in agreement there as well. Let's see if we've got any more questions here before we bounce on out. I see my guy Blink 182. He's chatting in the Discord. There we go. Got the question out. Carty is for you. Large field DK tournament. 4 Phillies, 2 Twins, 2 A's. Is that build acceptable? 4 Phillies, 2 Twins, 2 A's.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, there's good players on all those teams. I think the Twins are maybe a little overowned, but you can certainly build good lineups with them. So yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, very good. Believe it or not, boys, we are quickly approaching. We're running out of questions rather than approaching the lock. If you got any questions, get them in. Have we already had lunch, Tim? You already?
I have not, and I'm very hungry.
Just ravenous. What's the plan? You gonna go get a lobster roll?
I'm gonna make a couple cheeseburgers. Is actually what I'm gonna do.
Oh yeah. Oh, I approve of that. Lobster rolls are a thing by you, right? That's a thing.
Lobster rolls are definitely a thing where I live. Yes.
I have a thing where 1 in every 3 times I eat lobster, I vomit horribly. I get wildly ill.
Is that from the alcohol or the lobster?
I don't know. See, that's the question. Yeah.
All right. I'm just making sure that you've gone over that.
Yeah. I don't really. I'm not sure if I'm allergic to lobster, and a 1 in 3 chance is like, I don't know. But I think I need to. I'm also eating them in Houston. It's debatable. There's no lobsters in Houston, whereas in Bar Harbor, it's fresh. It's right off the boat.
You got to know where it's
right
coming from. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It is right off the boat.
Yeah. Carty, you got lunch plans?
Gonna go figure something out after this. I have no idea what yet.
Okay, I'm in that boat as well. What is everyone's favorite Adam Sandler movie? This may be the final question of the day. Yeah, probably is. Your favorite Adam Sandler movie? We've got a list here. I don't even know what Jack and Jill is. Hustle is criminally low. That's the basketball movie. I love that movie.
I've never actually Steve did these rankings a little bit differently. The top 4 are 4 he very much enjoys.
Okay.
And then the bottom tier was the only one he considers bad.
Yeah. I thought Hustle was awesome, Tim. You should watch it. Like, if you are a basketball fan, it's absolutely fun to watch. Favorite Adam Sandler movie, Tim? You can go first.
I'm just gonna go with the chop because I do absolutely love Happy Gilmore.
Yeah. Carty, you got a favorite?
I'm not a big Adam Sandler guy now that I've turned above 18 years old.
Abby Doobie.
Uncut Gems is good. If we're talking comedies, I think 50 First Dates is okay.
Okay. These are great answers. I will just vote for Hustle just because I'm a massive basketball fan and I really liked it. Let's see. Scrolling up. TJ says, you got to eat that lobster, Roth. If you think about it, 1 out of 3 is great in baseball, so just keep at it. It's a good point. You got to put that 1 out of 3 vomit chance in perspective. Hey, guess what? We've answered all the questions. I think it is time. Yeah, we did. It's time to clear on out of here. So for Tides, for Carty, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. We will catch you later on today. You have been crunched.